Welcome to Keeping It Real Estate, Episode 2. And today, what are we going to be talking about, Rebecca?
Today we're discussing buyer's basics, the steps to buying a property. We're going to go over those steps and give a little bit of feedback on what they entail and how a good realtor or real estate agent can help you with those.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw an article that 72% of agents had no sales.
So we think it's really important that buyers use real estate agents so that they can benefit from the skills and the knowledge base that we have, our ability to know the market that we work in, and also just how to work through making an offer, negotiating in a counter offer, and getting them to the title company table, getting those keys. We also don't think that all agents are created equal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much close to the case every year. Last year was a really bad real estate year for sales. And yeah, so what that really means to me is that we've got a lot of real estate agents that still have their license, but aren't actively pursuing listings or buyers to, get transactions closed.
So they're active but inactive.
Right. Yeah. So once you get your license, if you keep paying, your license fee, you can be inactive for so many years in our state, and then just have to continue with your continuing education. And there's lots of reasons why you probably wouldn't want to use an inactive agent or an active agent that just came out of inactivity.
Right. Yeah, they may not be the most best in practice there. So, whereas we're doing it a lot more frequently, going over the contracts and stuff. So,
Yeah, full-time agents are, that's their career. It's what they do. They are currently working with clients, helping them find properties, getting new listings.
yeah, it gets tough at times. So,
Yeah, the National Association of Realtors had a stat: 2% of agents close 10 or more sales a year. So
I believe it.
that's crazy. 2% of agents close 10 or more sales. So that is not a big stat. And to really live off of these commissions for 10 sales,
Right.
hard. So that's, in hard times, people a lot of times had to branch out and do other jobs.
Right.
But that's not really what we're here to talk about today. We wanted to give buyers that are considering getting in the buyer's pool or are ready to buy a house or start looking some steps to a successful path through the buying process. And so we're going to share those with you today.
Okay.
So what's our first step? Of course, this is so self-serving, but what's our first step that we suggest?
The first step I suggest is pick me to be your agent.
Pick me.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, or if not Kevin, we think that if you're a first-time buyer, especially, you might want to actually find a good, credible, experienced agent even before you talk to the lender. What do most agents want you to do?
Most of them, they're going to want you to have the pre-approval letter already, but that's not necessarily how I prefer it. Give me a call. We can set up a meeting, and I can point you in the right direction. And
We have clients who literally say, "I don't know what to do first," and they're talking to us.
right, and that's not uncommon. Like if I remember back when I was trying to buy my first home, I didn't have a clue what to do. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if they come to us, we don't go, "Whoa, you need to go talk to a lender right now." We're going to listen to what they have to say, what they're worried about, what they want, and then we're going to give them advice from there. And there's no reason they can't sit down and talk with us and get a little education.
Yeah, I always encourage people to set up a time and let's meet and, I can educate you on a few things. You can ask me any questions you may have and, get you on the right path to home ownership.
Yeah. So if you end up meeting with the good real estate agent first, they will point you in the direction of a lender pretty quick because that's only going to help you in the buying process, and we'll go over that a little more. But we also want to touch on what kind of agent you should be looking for. And we really believe that you should be picky.
Oh yeah, you want somebody that's going to know the area also that you're shopping for a home in. So
Yeah, that's when you hear the market.
right. So like there's the Arkansas market as a whole, but then I would say that there's submarkets. Like the Northwest market is going to be very different from the market that we're in. So
Yeah. So if you have done a little research at looking at houses, you also can research agents and their sales. You can look online
mhm.
and you can find out how many sales that they have had in the last year. Zillow and Realtor.com kind of keeps track of that. Our MLS, that's where we, multiple listing service, where we put our listings on, keeps track of our sales as well. And it's something that we should be able to show you, just print off. We can print it off and say, this is what we've done in the last 12 months. This is what we've done in 6 months. And it's not a bad idea to interview your agent and make sure that it's a good fit for you and that they are a go-getter. So we said step one was find an experienced real estate agent, and experience looks like someone who's actively selling properties now, understands your needs because they've listened to you. And then after hearing what you have to say and what you're looking for or what your concerns are, well, and because of the big lawsuit last year,
Right.
there's definitely some steps we have to do before we show that house. It used to be that you could find an agent that would just go, yep, let me see if I can schedule it. I'll meet you there. You haven't met with them in the
Right.
office. You have not had any agreement signed, and they're still showing houses. If a house is listed and it's being advertised, and you call us, we are going to have to get a buyer's agreement signed before we take you to see that house. And that's that there is no other way around that.
Right. And, in real estate in general, time is of the essence. So like if we have your agent secured, we have your lender secured, then we start shopping for houses. Like that's really the best way to do it because if you find something you love, if we put in that offer, it's going to carry a lot more weight having that pre-approval attached to it.
Right. Pre-approval, you've probably heard about it. It's way more necessary in the last 2 years than the other 8 years that I sold real estate. Sellers are now more aware of pre-approval, and some require it.
Some won't even let me show the house without it.
Yeah, they'll make it a little harder. I mean, as long as your credit's good and your income debt ratio's good, you can get pre-approval anywhere from we've had it in 2 days on some clients, and normally it doesn't take longer than 10 days.
And we have a lot of great local lenders that we work with and know. So we can show you some of those too options. And we've been very blessed to work with some great lenders, and they can get that pre-approval to us pretty quickly.
Yeah, so we do like clients to have pre-approval, but we don't have any issue with you wanting to come talk to us, get some information. We give you some advice and find out what you want to do. If you choose to use us as an agent, we're going to have a buyer's agreement with you, and it's going to be signed. And we are going to encourage you to go ahead and start the lending pre-approval process. And we always say, we're a small town. So the first thing we would suggest is that you talk to your bank, your own
Yep.
bank, and then also let them know about mortgage brokers
Oh yeah.
and those options. And, buyers can choose whoever they want to.
Yeah, it does not matter to us. Like that is totally your choice, and use whoever you feel comfortable with using. If you known Johnny at the bank for 10 years, use him to get your loan.
Yeah, yeah. I really like people to use at least local lenders. And what I mean by local would be, I really like it when they're in state. And the reason is over the years when, because all lenders have you download an app or do something online.
Oh, yeah.
All of them do now. Even if they're 10 minutes away.
Everybody has an app, don't they?
Yeah. But if they're local and we have an issue with them, I feel like they know that we're close and that they don't really want to let us down. But also, there's a perk to using local lenders. And I feel like if somebody mishandles your business through the lending process or something, or promises something that they don't come through, if you file a complaint in your own state against someone who works in your own state, I feel like because you're a voter, you're a citizen, maybe your complaints and means more than maybe if I'm making a complaint for a lender in New Jersey from Arkansas or someone from Florida from Arkansas.
Yeah, I agree. Like they're going to be like a little bit more motivated to do something about it because they don't want to get voted out of office. So
Yeah. Well, and our lenders here, because we're not a big, highly populated state, we're a great state. You can run into people in Arkansas easy. We like our clients to use local lenders.
oh yeah,
So the last thing I want to say about getting with a lender right away when you're serious about buying a home is that lender is going to talk with you and decide which kind of loan best fits your needs. They're going to know your finances. We don't know your finances and we don't need to, but the lender's going to suggest certain loans for you. They'll tell you several loan options that are available to you, but after talking with you, they're going to narrow it down to what your best choice is. Well, real estate agents need to know what the loan is because we're going to have to put it on the offer.
oh yeah. It's going to determine what houses that I show you. Like if you're telling me you're like, yeah, I love HGTV and I want a fixer upper, and I show you some fixer uppers, but you're getting a FHA or VA loan, that's probably not going to work out so well.
Yeah, there may be some criteria. There may be some items in a property that won't pass the appraisal
Right.
for a federal loan or a specific kind of loan. Repairs might need to be made.
Right.
If too many repairs need to be made, it's going to be hard to purchase that house with some of those loan choices. So step 2 was find a lender. Unless you found the lender first, step 2 would then find a great agent. So those are step 1 and 2, and you can flip-flop those any way you want. But if you've done the work and got your pre-approval, you're for sure ready to find that home.
Oh yeah. And where are we gonna find those homes, Rebecca?
Well, everybody looks online, don't they, Kevin?
Oh, they do. That's actually a great way to find homes. What you mentioned, like driving by. That's how I found my home. Yeah, I was driving by, and it was for sale by owner.
Yeah. So, and for me, I'm an internet person, and I'm always looking at what's come available, of course, because of my job, but definitely before that. I always wanted to see what homes were available in town and in my neighborhood. So, and while you're looking for that home, real important that you jot down some notes yourself for the pros and cons of those homes, because you may think this isn't it, but after 4 months of looking, that house may have been the best option you saw. It's probably gone, but if it isn't, you may want to reconsider. Right? I do also, we write down our notes about what we're hearing after we've shown a listing, but it's important that the buyer does try to keep some notes themselves because they may have a lot more pros and cons on their list when they sit down and start writing them out.
Right.
Yeah. And that will help them remember, especially after they looked at 4 or 5 houses, keeping it old school, writing it down on paper. That's good. Okay, so we're looking and we know what we've found it, right? Now we found it.
Yeah.
So step 4 would be make a good offer.
What does a good offer look like, Rebecca?
A good offer is one that offer is going to get you that house, or it's going to get the seller interested in working with you.
Yeah, okay.
So that's very vague. I guess what you are comfortable offering for that house, and not taking time to play the game. Like it could be, a huge lower number than what they're looking for. Your agent should have already told you, what houses in that area have been selling for. And so sellers know that too, because
Hmm.
their agent should have told them the
Right.
same thing. So everybody's so smart now
Right.
that I don't see a lot of sellers being offended by low offers, because we kind of prepare them that they might get them. But if anybody else comes in with anything better, they are going to want to play ball with that.
Yeah, and I was going to bring that up. If you love it, I would say don't do it because I've had situations where my buyers they fell in love with the home and I have a fiduciary duty to my clients, so I have to do what they say within reason. And they wanted me to come in with a low ball offer, and they told me they loved the home. It was the one,
Hmm.
and we got into a multiple offer situation, and their offer did not get accepted, and they were very sad buyers.
Yeah. If your agent says this is a decent listing price, then you really need to listen to them. So a good offer is not cutting the price in half or 25% off the listing price unless it's something that's been sitting there a long time. You better be ready to act fast.
Oh yeah, yeah. And if you love it, like is it really worth it? Like you're paying on something, for 30 years. I don't.
Hopefully your agent's telling you, I think if you thought about this in a couple of months, you wish you would have spent the extra money. A good offer is also written up with some strategy. We would
Hmm.
let the seller know that our client is pre-qualified. We would not be so picky on some of the ask about maybe we're not asking for the home warranty. Maybe we're not asking for the survey to be paid for by the seller. The buyer can pay for it. Um, there's some things that we can sweeten the deal by not making the seller, you know, spend more money. Okay, we have the seller, right? What's our favorite kind of offer?
Cash.
Cash is great. The next, and able to close in a few weeks, right?
Yes, cash is king.
The next best would be offering a great offer price, and they don't have to sell anything. They don't have any contingencies.
Hmm.
They're not asking for any extras, and meaning home warranty, surveys, anything that's going to cost the seller more. They're not asking for closing cost. Ooh, that's awesome. That
That's a
doesn't
big
happen
deal.
much
Yeah.
anymore. I mean, if my buyer needs closing costs covered, I'm going to hope that they are going to try to literally give the seller asking price for their house.
Right.
Maybe even come a little over so that the seller's not really losing a whole lot off that asking
Hmm.
price, because $6,000 closing cost off of 100,000 means you're really getting 94,
Right.
and the seller knows that, and we need the buyers to know that too. So if they're listed at 105, you come in at 100 and you need 6,000 closing costs, that's 94, and they've got it listed at 105.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy, and that's definitely something that happens. The more you load that offer up with stuff you're asking for, the less likely it is to get accepted.
Yeah. But if you need all the things that we're going to put on there, like closing costs, buyer's agent commission, survey, just be prepared to offer more for the house,
Right.
because the seller's going to just do the math, and it's about that final number, isn't it? So if you made a good offer, you're going to get a response, right? You're going to get a response regardless.
Hmm. It's law. You have to.
Yeah. So in Arkansas, all offers have to be presented to the sellers, whether they're verbal or in writing. So
Yep.
we've got to give you the good, bad, and the ugly on those offers. Buyers, this is what you're going to get. You've got one of three things here.
You're going to celebrate because your offer was accepted. You could get countered, or it could get flat out declined, which is we don't want that. No, sometimes you just have to go your separate ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And that separate ways might bring you back to the same house.
Yeah, sometimes you circle back.
Yeah. You might reconsider and make another offer later.
Right.
And you always have that option, or you just might move on.
Right.
So let's say we're under contract. Okay, so now what are we doing?
Okay, we're under contract. It's the homework starts.
The homework starts. We've got to circle back to the lender, don't we?
We do, yeah. So I'm going to send them a copy of the fully executed contract.
Yep.
So lender can get started on that. And you're probably going to get some calls and emails. They're going to be wanting some documents from you.
Yeah, yeah. The pre-approval is just, you know, they need to see a few things from you for pre-approval.
Right.
You know, it's not a for sure thing that you're going to get a loan from them for this amount, but they've kind of vetted you and they think it's going to be fine. But, now once you're under contract, you're going to be submitting things like the last 2 years' taxes, your utility bills, check stubs.
A lot of times people forget about this, but they're going to want you to like contact an insurance agent, to make sure that you have insurance lined up for when you take possession of the home.
Yeah, the lenders are no joke. They are going to know your financial business.
Oh, yeah.
If you've been divorced recently, they're going to know information about that. Child support payments. You got to give them official documentation.
Right, yeah.
So you're working on getting the lenders things that they need, and hopefully your agent encouraged you to check the box that you want a home inspection. If you're under contract in Arkansas, that means you have 10 business days to get your home inspection done, and then circle back to the sellers in case you have some repair requests.
Yep.
So we need to get that scheduled right away. After you might start, like you said, reaching out and looking at home insurance.
Home insurance, yeah.
Yeah. And just to see, what it's going to cost. And that gives you some weeks to decide if you want to get several quotes from different insurance companies, what coverage each one is offering for what price.
So, like, there's going to be things that come up on inspection, and a good agent is going to know what type of loan that you have. And if you're getting like a rural development loan or FHA, and I walk into the house and I see chip paint everywhere, we're going to go ahead and request that be fixed on our inspection, because when your lender sends the appraiser out, it's going to be a problem and it's going to have to be repaired before that could close.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and catch that right there.
Well, and you can address that also in your offer. So
Right.
if it's known to you that there's an issue that could be a problem for your loan type, then you'd be best served to put that in the offer under the other section. We can bring it up at the inspection period, or we can let it roll all the way until the appraiser comes. But the appraiser is normally there just a couple weeks before closing, and people may not have time to make those repairs.
Yeah, when the appraiser shows up, it's getting to be crunch time. So, yeah, that could be something that could cause us to miss our closing date.
Yeah.
So, and we don't want that.
So if we know something is required to be fixed for the loan type that our client has, we're best to put that in our offer that we're requesting that to be done. If you don't do it there, then you definitely need to do it during the inspection period. Plus, the appraiser is going to want to see that it's done. Important that your agent is telling you how to ask for these repairs and what's the best timing to do so.
Right.
So when you get that inspection done, it's always 40 some pages, some are 60
Yep.
pages. And it's because they're looking at all the same things at every house, unless the house doesn't have. But they still have the same form that they go through with
Right.
every house. And it's still 40 pages long at least. And they're going to tell you whatever they have found.
Yeah, and that I'm glad you mentioned that. It's so important for like a good agent to prep their buyer, on what the inspection is, because if you don't, they will freak out when they get 40 something pages on the home inspection.
Have our buyers, consider the home inspection. We answer any questions they have. Sometimes we have to call the home inspector. Sometimes the home inspector will tell you that they recommend a licensed HVAC tech to come out and evaluate the system, or a licensed plumber to come look at something. That should all be rounded into that inspection period to get the answers that the buyer needs to make a good decision.
Yeah, I always tell my clients we can ask for anything, and we may land somewhere in between.
Yeah. I also think when you're filling out that inspection repair survey addendum, I want the most important items,
Right.
like 1, 2, 3, 4, and least important at the bottom of the list. And that way I'm not going to tell anything, but if we get into going back and forth and trying to negotiate through the repairs
Mm.
because the seller doesn't want to spend that much money or doesn't think they need to, when we're communicating with them, whatever the seller's response is, you know, this may be a deal breaker. Those things at the top of the list, I like to be able to say 1 through 4 are like have tos for them. You know that
Right.
this is an FHA loan, they're going to be required anyways.
Hmm.
If you say no and we roll forward, the appraiser's probably going to make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
And so their agent should be explaining them, to the seller as well. And hopefully you can make both sides happy. If they're not happy, what do?
We move on.
We move on and we have to fill out termination paperwork, right? Yeah, by this time, they've thought they've had a buyer for their house probably 3 weeks
Yeah.
now, and it's really disappointing to start over again.
It
So
really is.
we now are waiting for what?
Your lender is going to order the appraisal, which the buyer is going to have to pay for.
Yeah, so home inspection is an out-of-pocket cost
Expense.
to the buyer,
Yeah.
expense, and also the appraisal. The lender's going to order that and hire the appraiser. You don't get to pick and choose that. That's actually kind of like a lottery. They just get the next appraiser that's on the list, the lender does, and that appraiser wants to be paid at the time of the appraisal, so the buyer actually has to give the money to the lender up front.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I like the way you described that. It's a lottery. It really is.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to
yeah,
get.
they can't just say, I want you to be my appraiser.
Right.
It's whoever's next in line. So, so the appraisal, we're waiting and hoping the appraisal.
So what we're hoping for with the appraisal, a lot of people don't understand this, but the lender is going to send the appraiser to make sure that the house that you are wanting to buy is worth the amount of money that they're going to loan. So, they don't want to loan $100,000 on a $50,000 house.
Yeah, yeah.
And they got to verify that it's worth that.
So they're making sure the value's there,
Mhm.
and whatever the contract price is, that the house is worth that.
Right.
And then they're also going to make sure that whatever loan type that you have, that the house passes those
Yeah.
criteria.
Yeah, if it's FHA or RD, they're going to make sure that it meets or exceeds the criteria.
Yeah. So hopefully your appraiser says, yes, this is worth the amount of money that you're under contract for. And, they're looking at comps that sold in that neighborhood and trying to see that the value was there with other sales around it. Then they're adding up the value of the things they see in the home. And hopefully it appraises and
So
appraisal.
they'll send the appraiser back out to verify that those repairs were indeed made. So that way they're just not saying, "Yeah, we did them." Wink, wink.
Yeah. Yeah. So that adds a little time sometimes to
Right.
the closing date, and this is why we ask for several of those things during the inspection period, because the appraiser would want to see that, and we're trying to keep everything timely. And hopefully the appraiser finds the value and thinks the house is in good enough shape to approve the transaction.
So what's our what's step 10? That was 9.
So I guess we, after we've held our breath through the appraisal, and sometimes we are not worried at all, are we?
No.
And so when we find out that the appraisal was fine, the underwriter's still working, the lender's working on preparing closing docs and getting those closing docs sent over to a title company.
Okay.
So at the title company, they're going to take that information, they're going to do title searches and just really make sure that everything is okay to transfer from one owner to the other. And they're going to get a lot of paperwork set up for signing on closing day.
Right.
And then we've got a schedule with them to have our buyer come in and sign those papers, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what we've got to make sure before that day, what do we have to have in place for closing day for the buyer?
We have to have insurance on the home.
Yeah, so the buyer's got to already say, hey, insurance company, I've chose you. My start date for insurance is my closing date, and this is the date we expect to close.
Yeah, and another thing, probably the week of, you may can do it a little sooner. I always like the week of because sometimes we don't exactly know for sure until the week of. But go ahead and start getting the utilities to be scheduled to be turned on. You don't want any gaps in that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. If they,
power, water.
yeah, electric. We just want
Yeah.
to make sure that you don't have a dark, cold house when you move in.
Right, yeah.
And, the utility companies deal with this all the time. Hey, the buyer calls them and says, I'm establishing service at this address. Yes, somebody already has an account established there. They're selling it to me. Our closing date's supposed to be the 24th. I want the utilities put in my name on the 24th. And
Yep.
that's how you get it set up and ready. So, and then the last step is normally the best step.
Complete the closing and sign your new mortgage documents.
There you
That
go.
is the day we've all waited for.
Yeah. And if you're not a cash buyer, your closing documents are probably anywhere from 30, depends on what type of loan, to 50 pages long. A lot of the things you've signed on the app for the mortgage are going to be in paper again, and you're going to sign a paper copy as well. You'll see things duplicated during the closing process, but that's okay.
Yeah, you better bring you a good ink pen.
Yeah, yeah. So once you get through signing all that, and if you have been required to bring money for closing,
Oh yeah, cash to close.
yeah, your closing cost, it can't be cash.
No,
It can't be cash.
I've had that happen. They want a cashier's check typically.
Yep, yep, they do. They want to make sure that the money is validated. They don't want a personal check, and so you can wire your. We do call it cash to close, but it's not cash. But whatever money you need to bring to closing can be wired from the bank to the title company, or it can be brought in a cashier's check.
Yeah, it's kind of misleading. They call it cash to close,
They
but
do.
yeah.
Don't bring any cash.
Do not show up to the title company with $100 bills.
Even in a cash transaction, you are
Don't
going to
do
have
it.
to wire the money or bring a cashier's
Right,
check.
yeah.
So,
You will not close that day. You'll have to get a cashier's check or wire the money.
yeah. And if you're married, you have to have your spouse there to sign. They may not
Yep.
sign every paper, but they do have to sign that they're aware of the sale
Yep.
or the purchase. The title company requires photo ID.
They
So
do.
you have to bring your license or state ID to verify that you are the person on the mortgage paperwork.
Right. Do not show up with your library card. It will not work.
It will not work. So the steps that buyers will go through are just pretty easy. I'm going to breeze right through them again. You've got to find an experienced real estate agent. We are experienced real estate agents, and we hope you'll call us here at Rice Realty. If you have not talked to a lender, that's going to be the next thing we suggest you do. Find a good lender, have an idea of what loans you would best qualify for, and get a pre-approval letter that we can hand over with the offer that you make.
Then we're going to search for the home. We're going to try to find you the perfect home.
When you find that home,
We're going to make a good offer. We're going to do our comps and make a good offer.
that is almost the most important step,
is.
isn't it? Yeah. Okay, step 5 would be, what do we do with the response from the seller?
As soon as I get that response, I'm going to contact you and let you know. And hopefully we're celebrating because it was accepted.
Right. And if not, we're hoping that they countered. If they didn't counter and they just rejected, we're going to talk to you, buyer, and ask if you want to submit a new offer.
Right.
And if not, we're moving on. So step 6 means we are under contract and moving forward in our loan process.
Yep.
So that requires us to do
Homework time.
step 7.
You're going to have to get all your documents that your lender is requesting that you provide them in a timely fashion. We don't
Yeah.
want any delays.
Yeah, you're doing the lending paperwork. Probably your agent is calling and scheduling your home inspector. Of course, that's your choice of who you use as a buyer. Most agents have a list of home inspectors that work in the area and should give you a list with several choices on it, not just one or two
Yeah,
names.
not one, and always get a home inspection.
Yeah, get that home inspection. So we've got to get that done in 10 days. And then maybe start reaching out to insurance companies for homeowners
Yep.
insurance. Moving on to step 8.
Step 8, we're going to find out any flaws or defects that the home inspection has uncovered, and then we may ask the seller for some repairs.
Right. Yep. Sometimes we ask for a reduction in price because the buyer might want to hire their own person to do the repairs
Right,
later.
yeah, reduction in price in lieu of the repairs.
Yeah, we didn't mention that though, but that does happen too,
That does
doesn't it?
happen, yeah.
Step 9, so then you get through the home inspection, the lender's going to order the appraisal, and you're hoping the appraisal comes back.
Yeah, we're hoping that the
Approved.
home meets value. It has to meet the value, or you're not going to be able to get your loan.
Right, all right. We may have to negotiate if they find the house falls short of the contract price. You need to ask the seller, is there something we can do? Can we reduce this? Do a general addendum, reduce it, and move on. Or we may have to do some new negotiation.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, buyer might have to walk and terminate.
Oh, yeah.
We hope that's not the case, but it happens.
All
every
are
once in a while.
possibilities, though.
Yeah, yeah. So we have passed our appraisal, and the underwriter and the lender finish up their final docs and send those closing docs over to the title company for the title company to begin doing their work. They probably have already started their title search and things like that, but they've
Preliminary
got a lot
search.
a lot of paperwork to print off and to get ready for closing day.
All right. Did we get step 11?
No, so step 11, what do we make sure we do?
Okay, we got to have insurance and utilities scheduled to be turned on for closing day, because we do not want you in a cold, dark house.
Right, and we want to make sure the day you take ownership, your house is insured.
You're covered. We don't want like a hailstorm or, heaven forbid, a tornado blow through.
Yeah, yeah. And then the last step will be going to closing. Hopefully your agent will be there with you just to make sure that, there's not any misunderstandings or any,
I love closings. We need closure.
yeah, closure's good for everybody, isn't it? So yeah, at closing, you're going to sign a lot of papers, and then you should be given your keys. As long as both sides of the transaction have signed their paperwork, you can have the keys to your new home, and it's a time to celebrate, isn't it?
Yes. Crack that bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
Time to celebrate.
So people might go into closing feeling a little stressed, but they normally have a big smile on their
Oh,
face when they're
yeah.
leaving.
Ear to
So
ear.
It's fun, and that's why we like to go to the closings with our clients.
Oh, yeah. That's like the best part. That's what we've been working for months. So,
Yeah, we obviously we're going to get paid after closing,
Right, yeah.
but there's a lot of satisfaction in watching your buyer or your seller complete the transaction. They're normally relieved and they're moving on, right?
Right. Yeah. It's a good feeling, and just to see that they're so pleased and happy. That's better than money.
It is. It is. So buyers, there's steps you're going to follow no matter what kind of loan you have. You're going to have to go through the same steps for home buying process. Some of the order might be a little different for you, but we do hope that you will trust us to give you good advice. If you meet with us before you meet with a lender, we're going to work through showing you these steps and explain them to you. We're going to try to get you to talk to a lender right away, and then we're going to work through each one of these steps with you, give you good advice, help you negotiate your way through, and hopefully you're going to be closing on the house that you were meant to have very soon.
Oh, yeah. And I invite you, if you have any questions, give us a call here at the office. We'd be happy to answer any questions. But until next time, I'm Kevin B. McPherson,
I'm Rebecca Seiler.
and we're keeping it real estate.